Welcome to Parts and Pieces. We've got a really special guest today, Henry Ramirez, Senior Manager, Global Store Development from Under Armour.
Yes, sir.
In our shop today, inspecting a very special project.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks for being here, Henry. Appreciate it.
Yep.
We talked a little bit about how you used to be at Under Armour. You took a little break, but your original tenure there was sort of in the original development of Under Armour in the beginning of its popularity.
Yeah.
Took a little break, and now you've kind of come back. I'm wondering sort of like what precipitated that. I mean, there's got to be a little bit of catharsis there, considering, you guys are kind of in this sort of reinvention of yourselves.
Sure.
I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah.
And also about what your new role includes.
Yeah, no. So I spent close to 2.5 years in retail logistics, still local to Under Armour, Baltimore, and supporting the brand from the vendor side, which was really great to still be connected with Under Armour, but just seeing a whole different side of it, and experiencing that for me, because I've always been on the brand side. So going on the vendor side was a very eye-opening experience. But I think I quickly realized that I'm a brand guy and wanted to go back at whatever opportunity would show its face. So for me, stayed close to the Under Armour team, and an opportunity came a knocking when old leadership returned, and asked the simple question of, would you be interested in coming back? And, we have a major project that is sort of our comeback story, in a very simple way to relay it, and passionate about the brand ever since, growing up in Kensington, Maryland, which is actually the same town as Kevin Plank, where he's from, and going to the University of Maryland, just like KP, near and dear, the brand. So it was a no-brainer for me to come back, and then being at the tip of the spear with a new flagship, I said, sign me up.
Yeah, no, that's great. Just a little bit about that flagship. That's a good segue. Can you tell us a little bit about what went into the decision-making that now is the time to reinvent, or at least sort of reintroduce everybody to some of these higher quality customer experiences?
Yeah, I think it's like a perfect storm, honestly. I got back to Under Armour late January. They were bringing in new executive leadership at the same time as I was coming in, new head of product, new president of the Americas, started at the same time, actually the same week that I had started. Fast forward a couple months, Kevin Plank comes back as CEO, and it's all these great leaders saying, we need a comeback story. And, we have this project that was originally seen as just a standard store in our new headquarters, but was a good opportunity to say, let this be a brand statement for us and show everybody what Under Armour is really about, and reintroduce ourselves as the sports performance brand that we are. And I think we got away from that for a couple years there, not really knowing how we showed up on the stage with our competitors. What is Under Armour was a question that was consistently asked, even within our doors. We're a sports house, we're passion, we're innovation, we're athletes, we're sports. And this store itself will be the physical manifestation of that.
Sure. Yeah. And I was wondering, just sort of from a high level, when you were making those decisions, was there, I know you mentioned reintroducing yourselves and getting back to where the brand originally was, but I'm wondering if there was there an overarching idea of what you wanted to bring with that new experience? If when Kevin Plank came in, let's say, and he said, this is what I want, like how, I guess, would you distill that down into like the core focus of the new store?
Yeah, I think the core focus is shirts and shoes, obviously the product, but really telling the innovation story. What sets us apart from our competitors, really exploding that in a marketing, display, or, that's pretty easy to do, but like, how can we explode that with major installations? We don't want to do the standard mall store in this space. It's amplified times 1,000, honestly, and really wanting to say, we stand for sport. Here's what it looks like in our new headquarters, 25,000 square feet of Under Armour in your face, no apologies.
Right.
Yeah.
And so then really, I think it kind of can be like an evolution story, right? Like this is like the getting back to, the brand houses, like when you were originally with Under Armour. And I guess, when we're talking about that, what do you think, in your words, is gonna be the difference in this new location compared to, those old brand stores that we were partnering on, a number of years ago?
Yeah, I think what's going to be different here is our target consumer. We shifted internally. We used to say our target consumer was the focused performer, and that could be anyone between 18 and 38 years old that casually is into sports and fitness. So it's a wide range, right? So with that, it was difficult to show up in a brick and mortar space and be everything for everybody, essentially, because that is wide market, right?
Sure.
What we're doing here, we pivoted and said our target consumer is the varsity athlete. So that's kids that are in high school through college. And what we're doing here, which you would see once the store opens, is a hyper focus on that. Gen Z, Gen Alpha coming up, and that's what we're calling them. I don't think millennials are making the cut anymore, but Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and just really giving them a space and talking to them. You walk into the store and it just feels fresher than anything we've done before. It feels authentic to sport, performance, innovation, but also the product is hip, and me saying hip is probably not even the right thing to say, honestly, with the slang, but as you walk into the store, you'll feel Under Armour, but it'll feel new.
Yeah.
In a different way, if that makes sense. It's like you walk in to our stores today that aren't going to be this concept. It just feels dated, to be honest.
Sure.
And where we're taking a lot of the good from the old and remixing it, if you will, and little sprinkles of here's where we're going.
Yeah. And so I'm wondering, just, more specifically then, are there elements within the store that are your favorites? I know we've talked about them offline, but maybe you want to talk a little bit about some of those new elements that you're really excited about seeing come together.
Well, yeah, the store in and of itself, I'm just excited as a whole. Like, there's so many zones within the space. And again, 25,000 square feet. We've never done a store at that level. Huge. We've done multiple levels, so split, like 30,000 square feet in Chicago, 2 levels in Boston, but not 25,000 all on one level. So you're going to hit with different zones, different experiences. But to answer your question, the Curry zone
Sure.
I have a passion for basketball. Unfortunately, I stopped growing at 5'6" in high school, so I could not pursue that dream. But I will tell you that I watch it, the NBA, NCAA, and it is actually my sport that I play on my own on the weekends. And this zone has great elements to it that is going to feel very, very special and very unique to the Curry brand, which is also taking its own, life.
Yeah.
2 stores just opened up in China, standalone Curry brand stores. So it'll be.
Where are those?
Those are in Shanghai and Xiamen.
Okay, I think I walked by one when we were on the Nanjing Road. Is that
Yeah.
what it is?
I believe it's there. Yeah, and so you'll get a little pop of that.
Okay.
In the space, and I say a little, but we have these beautiful basketball cage fixtures that are just going to look like nothing that you've ever seen before.
Yeah, those are going to be great. And less product, I take it probably as well.
Yeah, so we'll have product, but in the sense of it'll be merchandise in a very curated way, just very curated. What we've done in the last few months is really looked at our SKU counts in stores and really focused on certain styles and standing for those styles. The whole thinking is multiple SKUs, multiple styles. It just confuses the consumer.
Right.
What are the collections that we really want to stand for? And put those in the space, and has been performing very, very well in our mall stores, Annapolis most recently, where we've been testing a lot of these new merch strategies and also been debuting a lot of new fixtures in there as well that you guys have been supporting us with. But the product in Campus Store, we will have unique collections there, but it isn't a stacking high, let them fly mentality like you would get in an outlet.
Yeah, and I was wondering about just, talking more about retail trends. We talk about the blending of physical and digital retail, more experiential type shopping. And I was wondering, just from your perspective, like what some of those elements will be at the new Campus Store, some other sort of things that you could see moving into the space eventually, as far as helping you to continue not only like making your clients or your guests feel like they're seeing something special, but also something that's like sort of like an extension of the vibe that Under Armour is kind of trying to put out there.
Yeah, I think I can tell you for day one, store experience that we'll have that is physical and digital together, is a fitting room experience that we debuted with our current existing concept, Brand House. It's essentially a display that you have within the fitting rooms where you're able to communicate with a store associate via this display. So you walk in there, you have a certain size, it picks up the product that you walk in with through RFID, and it displays it for you, gives you all the product innovation, all the information that you would love to know about what sets this t-shirt apart from the rest, gives you the price point as well. And if the size that you walked in with isn't the right size, you don't have to open the door and look for store associate to come help you. You can actually ping them through that, and it will notify the store associate on the sales floor, hey, Matt in the fitting room walked in with a Meridian t-shirt, size too large. He needs to come down to a medium. So they would come back, hey, Matt, got your medium here in the Meridian. Oh, and by the way, I got the orange one that you wanted too. Right. See, you only walked in with the black one, and it sounds like you wanted that as well. So that experience is going to be there day one. And we're just getting back to what other store experiences through digital can we bring that are authentic to the brand? We tried foot scanner in the past. We've tried customization with footwear. We tried a few different things, but we want to not just throw something in there just for digital sake. You know, we want something to be purposeful and authentic for us. So I think that's a work in progress, but there is a runway for that.
Nice. So is there anything else that you know that you think that is important that you kind of share with, or you share with our followers or the people that may see this about this experience, like that, you know, if you want to get it out there, now's the time before I get into your experience working with Chandler. But it'd be interesting to know if there's anything additional about just this store that maybe I haven't covered in questioning, that you want the public just to know and get hyped on.
Yeah, I think you've covered all great points, but I think what I'm most excited about with this store is that it feels like our comeback story in a physical manifestation, and it feels fresh. You know, we're putting in our first ever brick and mortar store within our campus, a new campus that is going to be, you know, LEED Platinum, net zero to our values, acting sustainably.
Right.
We're introducing elements into the space under that value, recycled mannequins, recycled hangers. We're taking those cues into the work we do in store development, starting to play around with recycled materials with our fixtures as well. I think that's a piece of it. I think the other thing is what I would really love for this store to be, what I feel it can be, is a destination not only for the people that love our brand, but just people that love retail in general.
Sure.
Like, I want to go to Baltimore to see that store because I hear it's awesome.
Right.
I hear it's freaking awesome. I don't know if I can curse here, but you know, it's like, you know, like that store, I need to stop by. That would be success for me.
Yeah.
You know, outside of sales, you know, obviously are very, very good. But yeah, I think that would be the biggest positive. And I just want people to stop by, honestly. You know, you're in the area, it's off 95, you know, up and down that corridor. But it's going to be a really freaking cool store, and, you know, coming soon.
Yeah, right. And, you know, just to touch on the sustainability element, just because that's something that we think about a bit here as well.
Yeah.
You know, as you look to the future with some of those materials, is there a specific roles that you think that us as a supplier or of fixtures can help support you in that? I mean, are those types of things that you're looking for some thought partnership on, as far as, you know, helping to suggest some of those materials?
Absolutely, 1000%. I think as we continue, you know, our partnership, any recommendations, or just as you were going through the designs, like thinking about that in the back of our heads, like this has this life cycle, right? It's going to live in store. At some point, it's not going to be in store. We're going to want to get it out of store.
Right.
What can we do with that material that gives it a second life? How can we repurpose it or use it in a different capacity for the next fixture, right? Can we just break down those materials and use it for fixture number 2? Like, it continues on. So I would love really to, you know, lean on you and other vendor partners that we have and saying this is the best path forward from a sustainability standpoint as we think about all the elements that we put into stores.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and in my short time at Chandler, I've heard the stories of you know, I think we have a bit of a storied partnership, Chandler and Under Armour.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of, you know,
Over a decade.
a lot of camaraderie.
Yeah.
I think between you and John and Jeremiah.
Yeah.
You know, I would like to ask just about your experience working with Chandler. some of the things that sort of went into your decision making when you approached us with this project. What sort of what sort of specific skill sets, efficiencies that we have that made you think that we were the right person for this project, or the right team, I guess, for this project? Sorry.
Yeah, no, well, at the highest level, trust, and quality, and speed to market come to mind. I was like, who can I trust in this short timeline? Who do I know is going to give me premium product and can really, really make it happen? I feel like I've come to Chandler over the years. Again, over the past decade, we've had a partnership with you guys. I feel like I always put you with your backs to the wall in terms of lead time, but you've always come through, and it's always been premium, and it's always been high visibility, and nothing more high visibility right now than we're doing at Under Armour than this flagship.
Right.
But the team always delivers, and the easiest people to work with that I've ever encountered in the business, and the most talented. And it's all in-house, from creative to execution, and it's quality every single time. I promise on the next project, I'm going to give you a little bit more time.
Appreciate that. We do just as good.
Yeah.
Sometimes better.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think, again, it was, who can I trust? Who do I know delivers, and delivers quality? And it was a no-brainer.
Well, that's obviously always nice to hear. Kind of going into what's sort of in the future for Under Armour. I know when we were just sitting back there, we were talking a little bit about how this store, this new store it's sort of going to be I use the word muse, you use the word, sort of, whatever, benchmarking. Like, this is going to be the store that's going to inspire the next chapter in Under Armour store development. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about what types of initiatives those are for sort of spreading this, this new concept across all of your locations.
Yeah. Internally we use the word pinnacle expression, of the brand. And another project that you helped with years ago, Chicago Brand House, that's what that was for us back in 2015. And everything from there was a takedown in terms of, this is the pinnacle expression. Okay, what does that look like in Factory House? What does that look like in our outlet business, our wholesale business, and mall stores, full price? Fast forward, we're doing that again, and it's with the campus store. So this is the full expression of what Pinnacle feels like: sports innovation, sports house, for the brand. And from there, this will inform every other channel, even e-com, just like how we look in those spaces. So across those channels, Campus House is the go forward vision. And from there, it'll inform Factory House business, wholesale business. And so it's really the start of something new.
Well, that's all I have, Henry. Appreciate the time today. I know this isn't...
You guys are my first podcast. I love it.
First interview, so I think we did all right.
Much appreciated.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right.